Good. Call the meeting to order and ask, I think Bob said he would do our prayer this morning.
Sure.
Oh, wait a minute, we turned on the amplifier yet? Sorry. How about now?
We on? No.
Now we are.
Now?
This one's on. Give mine.
No switch, but
Well, we can hear you. We're good. We're good. Let us pray, please. Lord, thank you for today. Thank you for the rain. Thank you for the cool weather. Lord, we pray that you bless our commissioners and our officials with wisdom and guidance as they conduct work on behalf of the people of this county. We thank you and just ask for your guidance now in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you, Bob. We're supposed to recognize any special guest or presentations. We have several elected officials here, including the district judge, Mike Smith, who needs to go first. We're going to jump around a little bit to get some things done in a timely manner for some. So we'll start with, we're going to start with item 8C, Judge Mike Smith. Consideration of possible approval of auxiliary facilities for courtrooms, due to COVID-19. Good morning.
Good morning, commissioners. So I understand that they had actually put us on last week's agenda, so you may all have seen this. I'll circulate this again. If you recall, Judge Ellis had come down and got permission to use MIMS Auditorium and a few other facilities for jury selection. We don't have MIMS during the month of June, and so we needed another place, which is basically what this is about. And after looking around, we're going to use the Life Center over at Coggin Church. It's a big facility, modern facility. It'll do everything we need it to do. So with the commissioner's approval, we will do our jury selection on June 7th is our next jury trial over at Coggin. And then from there, we don't have our contract moving forward with Howard Payne or Coggin. We're going to just kind of talk to them and see which one works out better with scheduling and that sort of thing. So that's what that's about with if you all approve that.
What about moving back into our own courtroom?
Well, we're doing our trials in the courtroom for jury selection.
Okay,
This is just jury selection.
I got you.
And this is, calling 100+ people in for that process. And, even before COVID, they're crammed in there like sardines. And so I think for now, having a little bit of space gives people, we're not requiring masks. Everything is kind of normal. It's just a little bigger space. So that's the only issue. But we had our first jury trial in the courtroom about a month ago. And so we're back to that. And
Do you intend to go back to jury selection here?
we do. It's just kind of a question of when. And so I think that's something that's hearing from all the attorneys involved and all the staff involved, when everybody feels comfortable to be crammed in like sardines again.
You won't be that often that expensive to do what you want.
That's right. Well, and for what it's worth, the fee to use the Life Center Coggin is a little less expensive than MIMS. And so.
which is how much?
$400. The it was $600.
Judge Smith, is this just adding the Coggin Life Center to the available, I guess, premises that you can use?
Yes.
Okay.
So we still could
You're
use the
not
other.
taking anything off, we're
That's
just
right.
adding Coggin.
You're just giving us more options. And I'll tell you for what it's worth. I mean, really the only issue we have with MIMS is the court reporter. If you've been into MIMS, it's a big facility. It's old. It's wonderful. But when somebody in the jury pool is speaking, it's hard for the court reporter to hear. So we have to run around and hand microphones, and we figure it out. And what we're hoping is that over at the Life Center Coggin, it might be a little easier for her to hear. So we'll see.
In that case, I move that we approve the addition of Coggin. I think it says any appropriate building on Coggin Church campus to the auxiliary courtroom facilities for Brown County.
Yeah,
District
And I
courtroom facilities.
just stole the language from the last one that you all approved.
We have a motion, we have a second? Second, Larry, all in favor? That moves forward. We've got item D with you, which is consideration of possible approval of personnel changes.
That's correct. Let me circulate this form. I got this form from Ms. Carpoon, our treasurer. And so you all know Danielle Jordan, who's been the assistant court coordinator for 5 or 6 years, I believe, for Judge Ellis. She got an opportunity to go into the private sector, and was an opportunity she couldn't pass up. We're sorry to lose her. She's quite good at what she does. But Jennifer McKibben, who was my legal assistant in my private practice for the last 5, 6 years, is ready to take that spot. She's already been training with Jennifer for a week with Danielle, and so she's ready to go. So fortunately, we have that as a backup plan. So we're just here to get her approved, to get her started. I believe her start date, Danielle's end date with us will be this Friday, May 28th. And then Jennifer's start date will be the following Tuesday, since Monday's a holiday. So she'll start on June 1 there. So
Starting salary. What is it? Do you know what the starting salary is for that position?
I talked with Ms. Carpoon. I believe for the schedule she sent, it's $29,000. We were requesting for her to start at the salary that Ms. Jordan is at. I understand that's up to the commissioners to decide what that should be. And so,
The starting salary, 29,000 even, is that correct? And you're asking for 31.72 to start there. Personally, I don't have any problem with that. The amount of training or knowledge or training that she brings into the office would be well worth it to me.
she worked in her office for 7 or 8 years, a lot of legal experience. Working in a court will be a little new, but it's going to be a good fit. Glad to have it.
I move we approve the employee changes in the district judge's office, and the salary amount to be $31,750 per year.
Second. Any other discussion? So we're gonna start this way, above the starting salary for that position. All in favor? All opposed? So the salary, all right, starting position salary.
Thank you all very much. Thank you for getting me in early. We've got a busy docket today, so. Anything else? Thank you all very much.
Thanks, sir. Now, Mark's here, he's very end of the list, he said it'll take a few minutes, is that correct, Bart? Let's go ahead and get Bart done. We're gonna look at jump to item R, which is Bart Johnson. Discussion concerning the tax 2021-2022 health renewal notice and employee benefit group.
That's correct. Thank you, Commissioner. I came a couple of weeks ago to kind of deliver a little bit about the claims experience. And I want to hand out, this is the actual renewal from TAC. I know Judge Lilly, his office has received this already, and Harpoon's already received hers. Didn't know if y'all had received yours, so I want to make sure you got that. Jennifer, you got a copy of it? Yeah. So basically, this front letter is the stereotype letter. You know, here we are. Basically, the pool itself is running kind of hot. We have almost 7.3 to 8.1% increase. What I want you to do is turn to the second page of what I just handed out to you. So this is the actual claims of our paid claims on the far right-hand corner. So you're seeing we're running above, we're running hot. And I delivered that message 2 weeks ago, but I went back to my records and been running hot for a couple of years, really. But look at this third page. This is the page that really hits home. So you're seeing claims of well over $200,000 on 1, 2, 3 people. at 400,000, and we've been working with these people in our office to help them with their claims. And these people are sick. I mean, they need help, and so that's what it's for. But therefore, when you have this type of claims problem, you're going to get a rate increase. And so our rate increase is 10.7%. And the last page of this is the actual options we have to look at. You'll see our current plan design is a $750 deductible. And they give us an option for a $1,000 deductible and a $1,500 deductible. Now, no decisions today need to be made, of course. This is based on delivering this information. I'll be back on June 21st to go a bit more detail. It'll give you time to kind of massage this, go through it. They do give us one more option if we want to change our network from a Blue Cross PPO plan we have to a Blue Cross HMO, which is a more narrow network. That means less doctors. We would actually get a 3% decrease on our rates. However, there's a lot of doctors that are not in that network. It's pretty narrow. Now, if you were in Dallas, Harris County, Bexar County, Austin, San Antonio, it's a little different for it. Out in the rural areas, we don't have that many doctors in the HMO network. My opinion, it would be really tough on your employees if you did that. And I know it's a real attractive renewal, it's negative-free, but if you can't see your doctor, it's going to force some people to go out of town to see a new doctor.
So it'd like to be detrimental to us and the employees.
Oh, it wouldn't. I think the employees would be tough on employees. It would. A lot of that depends on the hospital and how they file it. So we're having to go back. We're having to go back. My office is going back and have them refile these claims. And I met with Hendrick last Tuesday on this. We're hoping we're coming to a resolution. We have a new CFO. Eric's a great guy, and Krista Beatty, the new CEO. They care. And so we're going to try to get to the bottom of that. But it has been on a few people. Larry's one of them. I mean, it's been a tough deal. It depends on how your doctor files it. Right. And then the doctor's not coordinating with the hospital, then it creates a whole other set of problems. So we're going to work through that with Mark. But anyway, I think today the main goal to take from this is basically regarding the rate increase, but we do have some options. If you looked at the $1,000 deductible, becomes an 8.5% rate increase. If you look at the $1,500, it becomes a 4.8% rate, a little over 4% increase. So it does give you options. I don't think the HMO is a good option. That's my opinion. That's it.
Thank you, Art.
So I'll see you guys on the 21st. Thank you.
Item B, Lisa Dick, Brown County Health Department update on COVID-19 response.
Do that. This is amazing.
I'm thinking you're trying to be quick, I hope.
I will try to, sure.
It's just the top.
How are you today?
Great, how are y'all today? So we were looking at our cases. This past week was really
There's our
slow here in Brown County. So we had 4 new positive cases, and currently we just have 1 active case. We did have 1 death this past week, and so that brings our death total to 138 citizens of Brown County. That was a male in his 90s, and it was from a nursing home facility. So that brings our total number of cases to 4,272. We move over to immunization portion of that. Brown County has 10,673 people that have received at least 1 dose. And of those, 9,174 of those have received both, or they only needed 1 vaccine, so they're fully vaccinated. That's almost 28% of our population, 2,789 of those that are eligible for receiving the vaccine. So that number came down a little bit, this past week because they brought in the age group that's allowed to receive the vaccine. So we're working on seeing if we can get Pfizer vaccine here into Brownwood. We've been working with Brownwood Pediatric, who's our largest pediatric provider, to make that happen. We've also are offering vaccines at the health department on a daily basis. If you call, we will get you in very quickly. We're working with community partners to get the vaccine out. We have clinics on site at 3 a.m. and the Brown County Jail this week, tomorrow actually. So if anybody wants us to provide those services to them, we can do that, call, and we will make an appointment to do that. We probably can't go to everybody, but if you have 20 people that need a vaccine, we certainly can do that. And as days go by, we may be looking at smaller groups. I also have prepared and I emailed to the judge and to Commissioner Pelton the summary of the expenses that we had that we talked about earlier in the year. Do you want me to give a quick summary of that, or is that at another day?
There's no action today, will there?
No action today, but, so originally what we had proposed in our budgeting was that there were, $128,000 or $129,000 that it would require for the health department to continue to operate where we were before. That wasn't gonna be covered by our normal operating expenses or that we were gonna receive grant funding for. So what ended up happening is that we didn't spend that much money. We found ways to cut our expenses. We've made some choices that were still wise for us, like the less expensive scheduling program. We did not leave staff in place when we didn't have work for them to do. And so the cost of those expenditures were $73,989, so around $74,000. So when we look at that, the Commissioner's Court originally agreed to pay $43,791. But we will have a bill that we will send to Bob that's $29,055.03. So the expenses were lower than what we anticipated. I would much rather it be that way than the other way around. We do continue to have some COVID expenses at the health department. We are still managing those over 4,000 cases in their paperwork that are going to have to be maintained for an indefinite amount of time. So when we did cases before, we had everything together. When the case closed, we put it in a file cabinet, and now we're trying to move those to an electronic record, which is a healthcare requirement by law that we have those electronically. So that is part of what we're working on now. Of course, we're not spending as much time working on cases as we just had 4 last week. But we are spending a tremendous effort on making sure that we continue to offer vaccines to the community. That's one way we assure that we pretty much return to normal way of life. And we can assure that we can sustain that if we have more people in our community immunized, because it will be protection of us going into an outbreak again. So hopefully that won't happen, but we want to be prepared, and we want to do things at the back end, the front end instead of the back end, I'm sorry. We just want to make sure our community is being prepared.
One quick question is, are you getting all the numbers from all the pharmacies that are doing the vaccinations too? Are those included in your numbers?
From what we're seeing, we think that they are, because when we're looking, if we have someone, we started out with this big list of people. As long as they're in the Texas immunization system, which is a requirement that they all get in there, we can look that list up and we can tell that they're getting their vaccines at Walmart or at Walgreens or CVS, where Jacobs, wherever they're getting those, and so we don't call them back again. So
They
that
weren't on the list, or you don't know.
they were on our list.
But if they weren't on your list, then you don't know if they were vaccinated.
We haven't looked them up. We wouldn't have a reason to. So in healthcare, there's a kind of a, but we don't look unless we have a reason to do that. So we don't. I'm assuming that they are because we're seeing those vaccines in the Texas system. Is what I'm saying. So somebody that got their vaccine at Walmart is showing up in the Amtrak system. So those would be counting towards the number of vaccines
So
we're
how many,
giving.
just real, so how many applications did you have to get?
How many did
people
we
applied
have?
to get it?
Tens of thousands. There were, yes. And so we worked through, I'm saying that there were probably, it was around 10,000 on the total on the list. We are still, there's an opportunity for you still to sign up, and we'd rather you just call and get that number or get that information from us where we can schedule you. But there's still an option to sign up through our registration system, and periodically we pull off of that so that we don't miss anybody. There are definitely some holes in the system. We've gotten bad emails and we've addresses and bad phone numbers. And so we've had people call in and tell us that, y'all didn't give me a call and I've been on that list for forever. Just sometimes those, the information, human error plays a part in that and we don't have the right information there. So we haven't called you and you wanted us to go ahead and call us back now and we'll get in.
That it?
That is it. It's a lot.
Have y'all heard any information on booster shots?
Not official, of course, we're like everybody else, we hear rumors that may require booster shots. Right now, that's not a recommendation. And the information that I've looked at is as we move away from that initial time of vaccines, from the people that were at the very beginning, their immunity seems to be holding well. So the indication would be, at least not right now, but we know on some other things like tetanus vaccine, you do have to have a booster every 5 years and 7 years, depending on where you work and what you're doing. And so I'm hoping that maybe if we do have to have a booster, it'll look more like that. And it won't look like us giving everybody else a vaccine right now or soon, so.
Lisa, let me ask you a question, and that is, today was a pretty good summary. And I think we certainly appreciate people that come in with less money than they originally planned, right? So, I just, would this be a good time to kind of start cutting back on your weekly visits?
And that is fine with me. I do want us to, I mentioned that our response still continues, and we've had additional grants that have fallen into place. But I also want to request continued funding as this moves forward. And we know that the county and the city will be receiving additional funding. And I don't think that, we're not asking for a significant amount of money, but continuing that, and I would be glad to prepare a budget and y'all can kind of have a better picture of what's going on.
This may be a good time to, you don't have to come every Monday if you
Right.
don't want to, but when you
I would like if you ever request to come speak,
if you,
I guess I'm asking.
I can request for
You
speaking when you have
rather, at this
information,
point, you
sure,
rather do that in the future.
Question on the agenda.
I can do that certainly.
We're gonna put you on there automatically.
Okay, that sounds great.
Got that, Skip?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you guys.
thank you, Lisa, appreciate you.
Guess we can do Judy Brownlee here. Brown County Child Welfare Board, consideration of possible approval to appoint a new member, Lisa Caldwell, to the Brown County Child Welfare Board.
Okay, we have one applicant today, Lisa Caldwell. She was born and raised on the Gulf Coast of Texas, just south of the Houston area. After graduating from Angleton High School, she attended A&M University and earned a degree in animal science. Upon graduation, she moved back to a family beef cattle ranch and started working as a research technician at the University of Texas MD Anderson Cancer Center. She spent a year in Ohio doing childhood cancer research at the Ohio State University, but was homesick and got back to Texas as quick as she could. After another year at MD Anderson, she returned to A&M and earned a Master of Science in the field of animal science and continued to work as a lab manager in the Department of Animal Science and AgriLife Research. A change in the U.S. presidency and cuts to USDA funding eliminated her position, ending her career in research. To be closer to her parents, she moved back to Brown County in 2012 after a short stay in Cincinnati. Had a son, Jamison, in 2013, and was blessed to be able to stay at home with him for 4 years until he started pre-K. Looking in day school, I started to work as a community educator for the ARC Domestic Violence and Sexual Assault Shelter. While with the ARC, COVID changed the dynamic of the position, so I transitioned to a World for Children placement agency as a case manager for foster families in and around Brown County. She recently took over as program coordinator for the Brownwood location of Texas Tech University e-learning. Her work with the ARC and the World for Children opened her eyes to the need for caring hearts and helping hands to improve the welfare of young people. She was honored to be asked to join the Child Welfare Board of Brown County, and her heart will be fuller with the opportunity to serve the community. Thank you for your consideration. And she has a wealth of varied experience, as you can hear there. So we give it to her name for your consideration.
We have a motion.
I move to approve the appointment of Lisa Caldwell to the Brown County Child Welfare Board.
Second. Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? There you go. Thank you, ma'am. Do y'all need a picture or anything?
No. Lisa Caldwell, thanks for the opportunity to serve. And you're on Micah. Where's the best, what?
Thank
Picture?
you. I just asked if you wanted an opportunity.
Sorry?
I just asked if you wanted the opportunity. I have no plan.
I don't know. Just stand in front of all the leaves. Yeah, that's good. We'll do that. It's too hard. Lisa, I've got my camera. I'm Micah, sorry. Ready? Thank you.
You want to know my, I'll take your picture.
Get back here. You can do that.
Both of them. You gonna say cheese or?
Oh, did it go off? It did. It went off. I'll get it here.
All right.
Thank you. Thank y'all very, very much. Thank you. Appreciate y'all. Have a great day.
Let's jump down to, I'm jumping all over the place today, but I'm doing Vance Hill, item L, let's start with item L. Consideration of possible approval of action regarding authorization to enter into a contract with Dr. Burns for access to the DPS radio tower.
Yeah, this is our radio project that we've been working on for several months. It's, gotten off high center with DPS as far as the agreement for the usage of the tower. But prior to doing that, I have to, enter into an agreement with Paul and Tony Burns, the property owners where the DPS tower is located, just to allow us permission to access the equipment on the tower. The terms of the contract's gonna be for 5 years, $10,000 per year with a 3% increase each year. The renewable at the end of the 5 years. You know, originally they started out asking $15,000 per year for the contract, so. Been with Public Safety Agency, they decided as a family that it's going to cost. And I'll leave just a rough copy for the county attorney to look at. And it's not ready to be signed, but it will be tomorrow.
Are they charging DPS also on top of what we're having to pay?
And I don't know what that is.
Do we, need to re-agenda this then, if it's not ready to sign?
No, I think as long as I receive y'all's authorization, I should have the contract there.
You'll be the one signing, you're the one signing. Yeah. Shane, good with that?
What's that? I was explaining it, so.
The contract, do you have a problem with the
No,
contract?
that's what I'm reading. I don't see anything over here. Looks good today. It gets you ready to use the side.
Is there a motion? contract for access to the DPS tower for our radio communication system. I'll make a motion that we approve the action regarding entering into a contract with Dr. Burns for access to the DPS tower for our communication. Second. There's a motion second. Any discussion? All in favor? There's that one. M is, Van Seal County Sheriff. Consideration possible approval of action regarding authorization to purchase records management system for jail and law enforcement.
Since I've been elected sheriff, I've been looking at software companies, several of them, to get away from our current software company. We located one that's gonna be excellent for our jail management system and also for our law enforcement management system. It's gonna work great with our new phone system that we have. I've talked to Matt, our IT guy, he's looked over everything, doesn't see any issues. There could be calls, he thinks everything's gonna work just fine. We are gonna have to maintain net data, a couple of terminals there at the law enforcement center, just for the booking process. That way the courts will have access to the booking process. But everything else is gonna be totally away from net data. The price for it, the original price for both jail and law enforcement is gonna be $84,926. $11,050 of that's gonna be the annual maintenance fee. I'll let y'all know, I'm willing to pay the $84,926 to get the system in the jail. I'll use my inmate phone system. I'm gonna ask that y'all pay the $11,050 per year for the software licensing and so forth. This is gonna be probably about a 90 to 120 day project to get switched on.
Is this replacing something else?
Net data, we're doing completely one with our reporting system with net data.
We getting cost savings there, less.
Yeah, Matt seems to think that 11,000 is gonna be quite a bit cheaper than what we're paying net data now for our licensing through our office. And he wasn't able to break it down for me because it's not actually broken down. We wasn't sure how many licenses we had over there. We believe it's gonna be significantly less, 11,000 less.
So we will reduce our costs on the licensing per station, whatever it is.
Yes.
Matt wants you to know that he has money in his software budget to cover that.
The entire price or?
$11,000, I think.
So Matt is viewing us on the video and he's responding to her if we have a question.
Right.
So,
The one thing we are gonna have to purchase maybe is a, server. Originally, we was talking about buying a server for about $6,000, but Ben's, the county switching the internet service, our email service, Matt thinks that we can utilize that server there without an additional cost.
We won't see any difference in what we access.
It's all y'all see is the booking information, the charge, the attorneys, and just what's original. And if it gets to a point where it's not working, I don't know why we couldn't have a terminal when it is.
Yeah.
We'd like to
change too, but we just can't right now.
Well, I'm fortunate I've got additional funds that makes up quite a bit. So
which funds are those?
I'm gonna use the inmate phone system.
It's 11,000 a year for the maintenance.
$11,050.
So he's asking, starting next year, that we take up the maintenance, is that correct? The first year money includes the,
Well, if Matt's willing to pay the $11,050, I'd certainly appreciate that, but I will pay it. It's a matter of.
as proposed, though, you're gonna pay it the first year, we're supposed to pick up the following year. Correct. We're currently paying the net data fees.
I can't tell you what it is, but it's,
What's the name of this?
Southern Software. I have Matt here, the representative.
Different amount.
I've been working with him for a couple of years, actually.
Southern Software.
Well, is there a motion to allow Vance to go out, what's the company name again, I'm sorry?
Southern Software.
Southern Software for the jail law enforcement management system, record management.
So moved.
We have a motion right here. We have a second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
And I'm gonna leave the county attorney in a contract to kind of look over, see if he's got any issues with it before we sign it.
Okay, the next item is Brown County Sheriff Vance Hill, consideration of possible approval of action regarding authorization to seek bids for IT services for the sheriff's department.
Yes, I talked to Matt, our IT guy, about this extensively on Friday. And I don't want this to be a reflection of anything. It's just that we need some more better service at the sheriff's office. And he's recommended that maybe I'll work with Apollo. We've got, after our issues, and we've got issues with our day-to-day operations that it's bogging us down. I've got a jail captain that spends hours and hours a month trying to keep the jail computers running. And then I got a narcotics officer trying to keep the law enforcement computers running. So we need help. We definitely need help. And,
Jim, quick.
So you're saying some Matt's unable to keep up with it all?
yes, I mean, I don't know if it's COVID or what. And then again, I'm not doing a blame game. It's just, we need help. We're desperate. We still got, the 13 computers we bought a year and a half ago, or was authorized. About half of them still haven't been installed, so they wasn't doing issues like that.
So you're asking permission to seek bids right now?
Well, yes, please talk to them, and Matt's recommended I talk to Apollo. I don't have any special funds in my budget, but I will remain under budget to get my office up and running. I had a note from my patrol sergeant this weekend, they couldn't even do offense reports. We got 4 computers in there, and none of them were working.
Will be an as is needed or full-time employee?
No, it would be as needed.
Well, I think we can go ahead, this is my opinion, go ahead and seek bid, but it'd be nice to have a discussion with Matt about all this, and just see where we're at, back to where we're at.
He said he wasn't up here today or tomorrow, but he would be back, so.
Matt said he can pay for that too, to cover the cost of Apollo.
I don't mind, but when I say that, I still think it'd be a good discussion to have.
We don't know how much that'll be, right?
No, I haven't.
Was there a motion to allow him to go out for bids for this? So that was a motion?
Yes, sir.
I have a motion. Do I have a second? Allow him to go out for bids.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion today? None. All right, all in favor? We have any opposed? One opposed. Vote. All right. Last, Sheriff, consideration of possible approval action regarding employee changes.
Yes, this is gonna be a deputy position. Marvin Simpson recently went to work for Early PD. His rate was 34, 13 per month. I'm hiring Angel Christopher at the beginning rate of 31,8842 per month, which is 38,261 per year.
Have a motion to approve the change.
That's always one.
Yes, that's it.
I move to approve employee changes in the sheriff's office.
We have a second? Any other discussion? All in favor? Unanimous, all right, thank you, Max.
And jail report, 171 inmates. Thank you, operator.
New deputy, or new deputy.
He was at Banks PD, but he's been working as a jailer for a few weeks for me.
Larry.
Thank you.
Thank you, Max. Well, we can go back to our original order if we would like. Anybody else? So we'll start back with item 8A, which is consideration possible action regarding the burn ban. Withdraw? No action, the burn ban remains off. Item F is Rick here? Anybody want to present on his, something, accepting donations, is someone here to present for him? We will, we'll pass that on the agenda, I guess, if he wants to. The next action is Joel Kelly, Commissioner Precinct 2, consideration and possible action regarding joining the Association of Rural Counties in Texas. That is another organization for small communities and small counties. we were looking at the idea of possible projects and all of the funding we've got coming. We don't have you on here, but I guess we're gonna talk to you in the discussion item. You're not actually on the agenda. Bob. We can, I guess we can visit about it, that stuff down there and Commissioner's comments later. But anyway, it's, we're looking at some possible projects with one of the guys that we deal with. Exactly how does that work, Bob? You have to be a member of the CIRA for them to be able to do that, and then for TCEQ, they've got to be a member, he's got to be qualified, so we clear.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you back there.
Okay, I say, so we're joining CIRA, but there's several reasons, your item's not on here for discussion.
I don't know why that is.
But anyway, it's possible expenditure of that fund, we talked about water work, we talked about water, then you're talking about TCEQ. So, but this puts you, this guy's already qualified through CIRA to.
It's J on the agenda. It just doesn't mention my name.
Okay, we can do it, okay, I see it under my name.
So,
Okay. But anyway, so it's kind of like Association of Counties, we originally joined the National Association of Counties. This one is a National Association of Rural Communities and Small Counties. And the fees were for a county.
Simply,
That's $3.99. Yes. $3.95 for community service versus the county, so it's $395 a year membership fee. And they do a lot, they also, same thing, they work in Washington, capital law for you. Anyway, I would make a motion, we join CIRA to help us work through some of these expenditures.
second.
Any other discussion? This could be paid from general operating $395, or we can take it from somewhere. All in favor? All right, that's just one step in many steps.
it is.
And item H is Commissioner Delta and myself, precinct 2, consideration of possible approval of action regarding declaring item surplus. So I have a list of things that we would like to sell out of precinct 2. A 1986 7610 Ford tractor with a house shredder attached to it. A 1981 GMC water truck. There's one item we can't find a tag on, I don't see. It's a little sprayer, a little sliding spray rig. We couldn't find a tag, a 65-gallon spray rig. It's been around there for years. It's not functioning. And we have multiple tires, used tires. I'm not sure if you have a document every individual tire, how you do it. You know, we have that.
We'll say miscellaneous tires.
Miscellaneous tires.
Number of time.
Yeah. Looks like there's,
Could somebody else add to that?
Yes.
We could add, we could press report and add one to it.
tires.
No, I'm talking.
Tires.
Well, we add some in.
Well, we have to declare it surplus, but yes. Okay, but anyway, there's at least 9 tires on this list, and some of them will fit this water truck, fit some other vehicles we no longer have. Their sizes we don't, we kept her in like a good used tire that would fit something we don't have. So I would ask permission to declare these items surplus. So I'll make that as a motion. Wait a minute, how many seconds do I need? All of them. I took Shaw's. All in favor? Okay, and then.
Can't add to it now.
Can they add to it now?
Well, we have to get your used tire.
All you have to do is put it on the agenda. and do it.
Or do you already have your?
You want to add it to his list.
It's on item, we had it under precinct 2 anyway, so. We'll do it next year. Item H is consider possible approval of action. We've already done it, I'm sorry, this is, I is to consider possible approval of action regarding selling these surplus items on gov deals. So I'll make a motion again to allow me to put these items on gov deals.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to put them on gov deals, all in favor? There's that. And this brings us to J, that's where you are, Bob, I'm sorry. Discussion, consideration of possible approval of action regarding proper use of the expenditures from the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021. It's a refuge, Bob, speak to something else. We were talking about it, we got that in my name, I thought it was in the bottom.
Okay, the Treasury notified us last Wednesday that we have a payment of $3,677,319 in process. It has not been
So they
positive.
changed it again, they went from part, so they're gonna pay full, they're paying part.
Originally, they were going to pay half, and then Plan B was they were going to pay whole, and then Plan C was they paid us half. So I can't explain why they did that, but that's what they did. But at a Zoom meeting Tuesday evening last week, initially, we could only spend it on water or sewer infrastructure and broadband. They made it quite a bit broader. We're gonna probably have to run every use past them, but we can use it for COVID mitigation, which is a pretty broad subject. Medical expenses, behavioral health, and public health and safety staff. So they have expanded the use of it.
Public safety staff.
Correct.
Hey, so, say we wanted to give, which is covered under the initial bill, the water district, we've got several water districts.
Correct.
What kind of hoop we gonna have to jump through to give them money?
Well, as far as I know, we would be the one,
Yeah.
maybe do with the
We
project.
don't want
So
to get it in our bill just for doing it, but I know that full water entities that need money. We can't spend it on our infrastructure. That's one thing they specified, so I think we need to look into that real quick, real soon. And we've done doing paperwork, having hearings, or doing anything like that. And so we need to get each one of those districts to let us know what their primary needs are, you know.
there's also funds called the Elementary and Secondary School Emergency Relief Funds, and those are called ESSER funds. Those went to our school districts, but they're very restricted in what they can do. They can use them on instruction and counseling and things like that. But it may be that we could help them also with things that are not covered in their funds, which is like COVID mitigation would be if they have ventilation issues or a number of, anything, we could just look at that too.
It may be like, it may change, it may broaden, who knows? Like I said, they've changed their mind 3 times, now we're gonna get the money.
Those things I talk about, things are,
But the deal you're talking about,
you know, they have very specific major needs.
well, we talked to an engineer that deals with it, but you gotta go through several steps in that. One, you gotta have an engineer that qualifies by TCEQ, they can look at these projects, and that's where we had to be part of this SERA, because they got qualified through SERA.
Projects, you know, say, one part, it needs a new generator. That's not an engineered project.
Well,
That kind of stuff, there's still need.
if we found out there are still sometimes, anything you change to a system, supposed to have to have TCEQ.
That's what I'm getting at, we need to find out what it is and get all of it.
Well, that's part of the SERA deal with that gets us where we can use this engineer by having SERA in place, is that correct?
Sorry, sir?
That engineer, we had to put this SERA in place to be able to use this engineer to see forward
Yes, that's
to even start looking at these projects. So that's the first step, that's the first of many steps. And anything he does, there's gonna be several steps. You gotta get a general plan, go up by TCEQ, and if they get you really go back and you get a bigger plan, actually get down deeper. So it's a multi-step process. Ma'am, you say, did you need something?
I was just trying to clarify exactly what you were talking about, Sarah. If you meant the Sarah website, but apparently you're talking about Arctic, maybe?
Did I say SERA?
Yeah, you've been saying Sarah.
I'm sorry. The one we just, the, Arctic, I said SERA, I don't know where
Yeah, and I was
I'm sorry.
confused.
Arctic, so let me take it all back. This is it's Association of Rural Communities in Texas is what Arctic is. I've been saying SERA all along. That was an item, but that's part of the steps. That's one of the steps, y'all. We join Arctic, we'll go, back to SERA, right? To get one person authorized where they can make another step. But anyway, so you were still saying,
So I'm just saying, basically, we have this money, the usage has been expanded, what can be allowed, and just leave it at y'all, tell me what I need to do, or what you think, just to let you know, it's gonna do. When it hits the bank, I'll let you know.
Right, and that's like, I said, I've already got one project I'm trying to look into, which is our local water system there in our community. It's a nonprofit that needs help. And you have others, I think I understand Brooks Smith is actually a nonprofit, Zephyr's a for-profit. What are they gonna be referring to?
Blanket's got.
Blanket's a little city system that's probably just the same shape we are, I would say. I'm not sure about.
Got you Brownwood. Brown County Improvement District has got big needs.
Oh, okay, so how y'all doing?
All right.
So there's lots of areas out there we could work with some people on water.
We have the only water treatment plant in the county, for Brandon County Water Improvement District.
We have a water treatment plant in May, Texas.
Y'all are groundwater. You don't really treat.
Your surface water.
We're certain.
So
We have the only actual
one
treatment
at North Lake is no longer, they're buying water from,
from Brooks Smith
which
through
is coming
us.
from y'all.
Yes.
So y'all are the only surface water treatment plant
Correct.
currently in the county. Which surface water treatment is, which I had a license for a while, I'll let mine go. Surface water treatment is a bigger deal. But there's, several steps to that process. So I've been to your plant, but I'd like to go tour the old plant and the new plant.
You're welcome to come out. Just give me a holler anytime.
So y'all are gonna have some needs that you're thinking of.
Generators.
Generators.
Generators is a big need.
Well, this is a discussion item, so we're discussing some needs out there.
No, it's not if a possible approval.
Well, we're on item
Jay?
J.
It's just
I don't think-
possible approval.
I don't think we're ready to approve anything today, but we're discussing. So you're saying generators.
Correct.
And the cities,
No, for Brandon County, we provide water for all of the cities, basically in Brandon County and everything. So if we can't produce water, then nobody in the county really gets water. We have about 44,000 people we provide water for.
well, I can see there's probably many plans out there that could be thrown at us. I got mine in the door first, and I ain't getting it done. But anyway, so that's gonna be a big item out there I know of. Like, this is a discussion item. He was gonna bring the numbers to us today. We cut it in half. Full payment, half payment again. You said we have not received that, or it's in the works?
Well, we have not received it, but they started processing it Wednesday evening last week, Tuesday evening. And they said, it'll take some time to worm its way through whatever processes. When it hits the bank, your treasurer will
And it wasn't as easy to get as he thought it was. He had to go jump through a lot of hoops to get something we already
What's the
promised.
first, how much is the first payment?
$3,677,319. And they use a fancy French word called tranche. So we get two tranches, the first one of that and the second one next May. Why they want to use
The
it?
same amount?
Yes, same amount.
So how FEMA works, if you started on last Wednesday, you might get it done October 3rd. Well, next year.
Well, that, they came across pretty quick with the funds for the COVID and stuff, so this is a little different. Anything else you want to discuss on that, Bob?
Just however you guys want me to look into things or not, just tell me what you need me to do, and I'll do it. Other than that, I'll just let you know what the meeting is.
Okay, well, we'll start the process and we'll see. Before we spend any money anywhere, though, we'll have to come individual items to the court. But I think the one I'm doing, we had to do something to do the investigation. I think we're not spending any money in the first step on the one, my project that I was looking at for the May community. So anyhow, it's not approved. We're just trying to get to a starting point.
Okay.
Anything else on that? Anyone else? Any questions for, never mind, Bob's gone.
No.
All right, no action, item J. Item K is Gary Worthy, Commissioner Precinct 1, consideration of possible action on an application to install private lines on County Road 186, County Road 187, and County Road 188 by IP Radiant LLC.
These three crossings will be a cut. They're all on, dirt or, Caliche roads. Be done to county specifications, and it, like I said, is coming from IP Radiant. They're, trying to figure ways to go ahead with their solar project down there. So I move we approve the road crossings of County Road 186, 187, and 188 by IP radio.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor? That item passes. I just need one signature.
I mean,
Yes.
there's no signatures on
Here,
it.
it's on the order, Joel. You
Oh, there's the
just-
order.
You just sign that
You
at
got
the
some
bottom,
orders on it.
Okay.
right above your name.
Item P is Jennifer Robertson, County Auditor, discussion and possible approval to approve contingency general funds. FEMA funds.
So we're still waiting on FEMA funds, and Larry has several bills that have come due. So it's my request that we be allowed to move, it's $351,151.49 from our contingency fund to cover his FEMA shortfall until those funds come in.
We've done this before, haven't we?
Yes,
And they finally cut them back up, paid them up.
eventually, yes.
I move we approve the, to move contingency, or move funds from contingency general funds to FEMA funds.
A motion and a second, any other discussion? All in favor? The last item, we still got another. Item Q is county auditor discussion and possible approval to move contingency general funds to the COVID fund.
Yes, our COVID fund, those initial funds were down to only about $1,500. It costs $3,500 per month for our, lady who does the COVID cleaning in the courthouse. And, it is our request that we move money from the contingency fund to the COVID fund until we get our additional COVID money
So again, this is a loan from the general to
to COVID.
COVID. Is there an amount?
Well, initially it's gonna be to cover her payroll, which is about $3,500. And then, when we get the invoice from Lisa's office, the 29,000. So we're looking at another 32 to 35,000. It, depending on when those funds that Bob was talking about comes in. But right now, it's just to cover her salary of about 3,500.
Understood, he's wondering has it come.
If you want to, yes.
That's what I'm asking you, how you do it.
Well, considering Bob's, presentation, let's just do the 3,500. And then if we need to,
You wanna do it more, so we don't have to come back and do this every month?
well, that's exactly what I was thinking about. I mean, let's just cover the 35,000. And then that way, if for whatever reason the funds are delayed and this invoice comes in, we'll be able to.
So
How about
But we won't,
we move, up to 35,000 from the general fund to
There
COVID
you go.
fund?
okay, yeah, as needed. I mean, we
As
won't just
needed.
pull it, but yeah, we'll do
And
that.
these are funds that are supposed to be repaid, so there's actually basically loaning.
Yes,
Mark and
yes.
others.
Instead of robbing Peter, we're borrowing, and, we'll pay him back.
Well, I'll make a motion, we approve the,
Already did.
you did, didn't you? I'll second that motion. How about that? All in favor? All right, now we gotta go back up here and catch, I guess we didn't have any citizens comment signed up for that, but I forgot that one. We gotta pay the bills, we didn't, the minutes, we need the motion to approve the minutes from the previous meeting.
I make one to approve the minutes from the previous meeting. Second.
Motion second, all in favor? There's that. And that leaves paying the bills.
I'll actually follow you.
Okay.
Let's go and pay the bills for the end of the order.
Motion and second, pay the bills. You ready? All in favor? We have another item, it's called, Commissioners' comments, no action to be taken. During this information only discussion, we have the speed limit ready to post, which is gonna be, Shane, you wanna explain how we're gonna do that? We're just gonna post the general information, I guess, that they want to.
Yeah, we're putting a public notice, in the newspaper of a public hearing, which will be on June the 7th, which will be setting speed limits on county roads. We'll have a list available if anybody wants to come up to the commissioner's office and get a list of the proposed speed limits on each individual county road.
We're prepared for that.
Should be too long to put in the paper.
Yeah, because it doesn't, the law doesn't require us to list each individual road in the notice. It requires us to have a notice of a public hearing.
Here, minutes. Sorry.
So we'll move forward with that. We need to put that in. How soon does it need to go in?
Well, it has to be, no less than 7 days prior to the hearing, so it probably needs to be, this Sunday newspaper.
Sunday.
Deanna and I were discussing this morning, I said we just bring it up and talk about it before, make sure.
So it's this Sunday.
Okay.
Did we skip anything? I know I jumped all over the place, it was a long agenda.
No, you got it all.
Deanna says we've got it all, Gary says we've got it all. I guess we got it all, we're adjourned until.
June
June 7th. Next Monday is a holiday.
Okay, nobody needs to meet the next Tuesday for any reason. Okay, we are adjourned. Don't y'all, don't run